I would say until mid-2015, if anyone had asked me, I'd have said I was in perfect mental health. I would never have thought I would ever be unwell, and I was probably a bit frightened of the idea of being unwell, mentally unwell. And then I had a period of what I know now was extreme illness. I couldn't sleep, kept inadvertent crying at the office, all the really good behaviours. And then I came to a point where I really felt I couldn't do my work. I was looking at huge contracts and nothing was going in. And through a series of medical appointments, I was dragged to a psychiatrist. Probably the best thing that's ever happened to me. And I was diagnosed as having depression and anxiety, and I was off work for several months. I then came back to work. I was convinced I was ready. I came back to work. I then had a very bad relapse, and I spent some time then in hospital. And then I came back to work a second time, with a phased return, and I've been back in pretty good health, probably for about 2.5 years now. And I would say I was in good mental health at the moment. So I tried coming back to work twice. The first time I came back, I effectively self-diagnosed myself, said I was ready to come back. My psychiatrist was supportive, but it didn't go very well. And I think that was because, when I look at it in retrospect, I and the firm were really tiptoeing around each other, trying to keep me well. And I wasn't really getting involved in any client work, wasn't really doing any substantive work. And because one of the factors for me when I was ill was that I felt I couldn't do the work, actually then not having work to do was quite self-destructive. And my sort of depression and fear that I would never do this job again spiraled out of control. But the second time I came back, admittedly having had time in hospital and obviously therefore a lot of intense therapy, I was much more in control of the process and took real ownership of it and talked to the firm about it. I was really open about what I thought had gone wrong, what I felt I could do, what I felt I needed. So, for example, I felt I really did need to speak to my clients, and that wasn't going to be a bad thing, it was going to be a good thing. And having that much more open, honest and clear discussion around expectations was what made it work, I think, the second time. The way I work has certainly changed as a result of having been unwell. I'm very, very conscious of my own well-being now, and I now know when I'm not firing on all cylinders. I know if I need to take a break, and actually I recognise that I'm better for my team and I'm better for my clients if I have a rest, or if I go to the gym, for example, than if I just keep pressing on with the mentality of I have to be perfect and on form all the time. So I think I'm more self-aware about myself. I'm more in control, and I appreciate that can be so difficult for juniors. But I am much more controlled with myself, and I'm more authentic with my team, and that has made my work relationships infinitely stronger.